When you partner with Axon, you immediately gain access to a full range of products and solutions designed to meet the complex needs of today's grower. We carry all major brands and sizes of tires and wheels. We specialize in large diameter wheels for large equipment. We have one of the largest OEM replacement wheel inventories in North America. Known for extreme flotation setups, duals, and triples, we have wheels for all makes and models of tractors, sprayers, combines, and grain carts. If we don't have the wheel in stock, we'll custom build, sandblast, and paint in-house. There isn't a more vast inventory in North America dedicated to helping dealers move more iron. With facilities on the West Coast and in the heart of the Midwest, leverage our 230,000 square feet of indoor inventory to solve any problem a grower may have. Move more iron with Axon.
Moving iron.
Hello and welcome to Moving Iron Podcast. I got the folks back here from Valley Transportation. I got Brad and Parker back. Guys, how you doing?
Good, yourself?
Doing pretty good, man. It's almost Christmas time, so we've got all those fun things going on here, all those fun activities that happen during this time of the year. So you guys have your big Christmas party planned out yet, or you guys already had that?
We're not having a super big one. We got a little event next Friday night with all the employees.
Right on.
We're gonna move on to next year, I hope.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, I like the sometimes there's been companies I worked for where Christmas party legends live forever, and that's sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad, you know. So you just have to see what happens with those. So speaking of holidays, we're coming up on that time of the year where you're going to start seeing more and more activity as far as restrictions, as far as when things are coming in and out. Parker, as you're looking at that time frame where we're at right now, what are some of the things that are foremost on your mind right now?
Yeah, definitely. We want to get our drivers home for the holidays and spend time with their family. We know they spend a lot of time out on the road away from home, so it's always good to get them home, and they're appreciative about it. And with that comes all the travel restrictions for oversized loads, and it definitely throws a wrench into our production, I guess you'd say. Drivers can't run on holiday weekends and different things like that, and it kind of delays a few things.
Yeah, it sure does. And I think the other side of that too is in some of these areas where there's still a lot of road construction going on, you start seeing restrictions as far as when and where they can go through those areas. And I guess talk a little bit about that when you start looking at delays that may come from that.
Yeah, the road construction, that's always a thing you got to kind of worry about.
Right.
But the holidays, it adds to it for sure. So
it does.
Hopefully, drivers stay safe on the road and, keep everybody else on the road safe as well with all the extra traffic around the holiday season.
Yep. It does I always have to drive I-80 from York, Nebraska, just a little bit past, a little bit west of Lincoln, all the way across Nebraska, and till you get to Ogallala, where 76 goes south into Denver. I'll tell you what. Before holiday and after holiday, you see why they have some of those restrictions they have out there, because it's wall to wall people.
Yeah,
for sure. All right, Brad, as you take a look at kind of going through 23 here, looking into 24, what are some of the big concerns you have right now when you're looking at whether it's regulations or whatever it might be? What are some of the concerns you have for 24 right now?
Well, I think one of the big things is interest rates going to slow down the sales of this equipment. We've definitely seen it already. Things are slowing up in certain areas. To run through next year, I think with the election year coming up and the interest rate the way it is, it's possibly going to slow down a little bit. So we've seen a pretty good slowdown already. Maybe a lot of people would say it's back to a little bit more like normal. But some of the rates on the dry van side have really taken a hit. Specialized and equipment side, not so much. That there's just not the volume of trucks out there to cover that freight like on the dry van side. So they've got way more capacity now than they do freight, and you're seeing that tighten up a lot. So going into next year, I think we're seeing fuel prices drop some. Crude oil prices came down $8.50 in the last 30 days. That's helping a lot. So if we can, my philosophy is we can keep fuel coming down and get interest rates to back up a couple points. Next year might not be as bad as everybody thinks it's going to be.
Yeah, and that's kind of my thought process there too. A little bit is that there's a lot of headwind right now, but I just don't think 24 is going to be as bad as what some people are making it out to be. We're already seeing on the lending side for us. You're looking at on the equipment side of it. You're starting to see some reduction in value in interest rates from lenders. Right, you're starting to see a few things here and there. The joke I did with the guy the other day was 5% interest sure sounds pretty good right now, and if you could get something back down there, I mean, you're really going to open up, which I don't think we're going to go from. I think we're almost 8%. I think right now, if you look at the majority of equipment lenders out there, that they're going to drop the interest rate by 3 points between now and any time soon. So you're probably going to be stuck with something in that 6.5 to 7 range, maybe, if the Fed does come in and say, hey, we're going to lower some rates and those kind of things. But it'll be interesting to watch how it plays out, because I mean the stock markets and those kind of things have got this kind of built in that, we're going to start seeing this happening. And what scares me about that is that when they don't see it happen, what happens to the market then? And those are that's the big outlier when you start having all these speculative money start popping into these things.
Right, and the Dow was a 36. It's like over 36.5 again, isn't it?
Yeah, it's up there again. Yeah.
Yeah, that's been going up quite a bit lately.
Yeah, but they've got a lot. That's just how it works, man. It's got so much stuff built into that has to come true for it to work, and then when it doesn't work, they flip that script pretty quick. So it's a big thing. I think
we're kind of positive, thinking that one thing has been a little easier, that we're getting drivers in the door. I don't think there's as much pressure out there for other people hiring, so we're able to fill some seats and get things squared away on that side of the thing too. So we're hoping that we fill up with drivers and we're able to maintain the workforce like we want it to be. Over the past 3-4 years, we've had struggling because there's so much other competition for employees out there. So I think that's that's softened a little, and people are looking for work again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it feels like the orders have really kind of been coming in steady lately too. I mean, our load count was kind of the highest it's probably been in 2, 3, 4 months, something like that. So that's a positive sign. Looking forward to hopefully it continues to be like that.
Yeah. So last podcast that we did, you guys brought up something, or Parker, you brought up something that was a little bit interesting to me, and I've been paying more attention to it now, and just kind of want to get to follow up with you, both you and Brad both. But you talked about the brokerage firms that that were just like here one day and gone the next. They they kind of went bankrupt or whatever, and next thing they had all this freight booked, and then they got it all delivered, and next thing the drivers left holding a bag of real good stuff there because they didn't get paid, and they're wondering where their money's at and those kind of things. So is that still, you guys still seeing that as a problem? Is that getting worse, or is that kind of leveling out, or what are you seeing on that?
I don't know if I've paid much attention to it since we talked about it, and I don't know if I ever finished reading that article, but I think it's still a real issue out there that some of them are going under and just walking away from it.
Yeah.
A lot of times those guys that don't have any assets, they don't have a lot of skin in the game.
Right.
So they're in and out of the game a lot, so they grab as much money as they can, and then they don't pay anybody, and off they go.
Yeah.
One big thing, with some of the brokers that we do, I mean, if they got a Miami or a Chicago address, you really got to pay attention to who you're dealing with. They just, might go bankrupt here, start again in a week or two.
Yeah.
You just never know.
Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day because I mean, there's those. No, what's that? There's like that website like ShipX or whatever it is that you can go to, and you can get the guy that's either the over road trucker, or you can get the guy with a Sprinter van, and you can run it from place to place or type of, what I mean? So I was thinking about that the other day because I was watching an old episodes of, I can't remember what it's called, Shipping Wars or whatever it was, where they're hauling like the most obscure possible thing they can find, and they're it's crazy. This 50-foot long acrylic fish tank we've got to get from Chicago to Miami. Like, who the hell does? No one has that. That's ridiculous. Yeah, it's the craziest thing on the planet. But I was just thinking about that the other day, and at this time of the year too, especially with trying to get those last minute things out to where you can get paid and get things pushed out by the end of the year. That's got to be something that people are doing. So I guess, Brad, from your years of experience, what are some of the telltale signs that you look for when you're working with brokers?
Just like for us, longevity, that we know they've been around a while, and we've worked with them in the past. And, somebody new coming into this market, if they're fresh and they got a new MC number, that they're brokering off of, you got to be real cautious because you don't know, they could be great guys, but 9 times out of 10, they're not going to make it work,
Right.
So there's a lot of guys out there that just jump in it, think they're going to make the big money, and they make decent money, and then they blow it all, and they can't pay their carriers, and they don't keep track of it.
Right.
Yeah. So that it becomes a problem. And I always say, and we do too. We try to work with asset-based carriers.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a brokerage company too, but we use it just to help us manage our overload of freight.
Right.
So we'll broker out to asset-based carriers that we know are good. So when you're shopping for that type of thing, and the brokerage thing is that's a hard game to play. If a broker's got the cheapest rate, you got to ask yourself, how does he have the cheapest rate? He's got to make his cut, and then he's got to pay somebody else to haul it.
Right.
So something's not adding up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tricky one there, because you look at that, sitting on my desk back when I was at the dealership, you get people calling you in, and they'd be like, hey, we want to work with your freight company, or with your freight guy, and this, that, and other thing. And I'm like, hey, what are you charged to haul, what's your load a mile for a combine, or wait, what's your this, that, other thing. And there, when they asked me, like, well, I mean, you have to give me the measurements on the combine, and then the next question is, does that fit on a flat deck? Or I'm like, okay, you're out, dude. You're flat. No, it's not going to fit on a flat. I mean, it will, but still stay away from bridges. So you're going to be all right.
Most of the customers too, like, I had this lined up with a guy. It's been 3-4 weeks. He doesn't answer my phone calls. So if you want to do it, go for it. And, I'm glad to help you on that.
Yeah, and you'll be amazed how many times that's happened to me, where you have a guy that you've, they've done some stuff, local guy, type of thing, just guy down the street, he has a truck, whatever else, and you call him, gives you a price. Okay, great, I'll take it. It's very competitive with what's going on around him. It's not like I'm the same way, like you were talking about, Brad. If you're $1,000 cheaper than the guy that's charging me $2,500 and you're at $1,500, I got, okay. You're not going to just drive the machine to the guy, right? You're going to actually put it on a truck, right? So, you'll see that, and they'll just disappear on you, and then they'll call you back, 2 weeks after you finally went with the right people, and you end up, and my truck broke down and I couldn't, but that's why I can't functionally work with you like that. You either can or you can't. And I think that's not to say that there aren't people like that to work with, but working with a group like Valley, where you've got a few hundred trucks out there running around, it's easier to make those kind of things happen.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Okay. When you guys are looking at trucks that you have on order and as they're coming out of the factory, is that pretty well caught back up to where things are kind of back to normal, or is it you still see a backlog there, Brad?
I think that's pretty well caught up. I mean, you're starting to see these dealerships fill up with trucks again. They're empty. I just come back from lunch. I drove by Peterbilt 20 minutes ago. I said, it appears like there's not a problem getting trucks anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Quite a selection there if anybody needs one. So
just car dealerships. I mean, equipment dealerships seem to be.
Yeah. I drove by our stuff around here locally, and I bought a new pickup a couple months ago, and I looked all over the place trying to find one, and no matter where I looked at, they were all about the same price, and they all had about the same availability. And so I bought one here locally, and I drove by there yesterday or the day before, can't remember what it was, and they had like 2 or 3 trucks when I was there to buy mine. Right, that was your choice. Here's the 3 trucks you can pick from, and 2 of them were the same color. So I'm like, I guess I'll take the one that's not the same color. And now they've got the lots full. The Ford place didn't even have anything new; it was all used. So they got that filled back up. All the equipment dealerships are all full back up again. You look what's going on there. When you are on the truck side, Brad, are you seeing where those used values and those kind of things are starting to slide back down a little bit, or are you still seeing a pretty strong used value out there for the trucks you guys are trading in?
Used trucks dropped quite a bit.
Did they?
They up a lot. So you take like Taylor and Martin auctions and stuff like that. We watch those pretty close. Those trucks have backed up substantially. So and they're back to kind of where they were pre-COVID, I think.
Right.
Before all this mess started, they're back into reality numbers, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
and that's a conversation. Go ahead.
I think new is going to drop off. I was actually with one of the Kenworth reps here for lunch, and they're bracing themselves. They know their things are slowing down, and it's going to back up. And they're prepared to start making deals again. They're already talking about what kind of discounts they're going to give us, and so things are coming back to, and that'll even get stronger as these lots fill up, and those guys they're paying 8.5% on their line of credit, and they got $10 million of trucks sitting outside.
Yeah,
it tends to make a difference.
Yeah, that'll definitely change some minds on how fast they need to move something. And that's the same thing I've been talking to guys about too. I think where some of this misnomer of 24 is going to be this gloom and doom time frame. It's just, don't get me wrong, there's going to be some contraction in the marketplace for sure, 100%. But it's not so much that as it is things are just getting back to normal, and that's when you have 3 years of I've got it, and if you want it, here's the price, and that's kind of how it works. When that flips, people have a short memory of what normal used to be like, So yeah, it'll be interesting to watch it roll out. Long term wise, when you're looking at what you see out there as far as what you're hauling the most of and those kind of things, into what areas and those kind of, what are you seeing the most right now? Are you seeing a lot of tractors moving around, or what are you guys seeing the most being moved around?
Between ag and construction, we do both, and that's the majority of what we haul. And it used to be, 4 or 5 years ago, construction outweighed ag by a lot. And then the past few years, it's been vice versa. Having not to say that we're hauling anything less than before, but tractors, I mean, that always move. Everybody.
Sure.
Sure. Been doing some combines, quite a few bids on combines. Before long, planting equipment will start up again, and everybody getting ready for the spring. Majority of it tractors, RXs, quad tracks, just row crop tractors as well. So it seems like the majority of the stuff that I've been bidding lately has been, tractors.
Yeah. So when you have,
I'm easier to haul than combines.
right? Yeah. So that's my next question. Are you talking row crop tractors, 4-wheel drives? Like what's the is there an even mix between the two? Like where's your sweet spot on those tractors right now?
Did so many things that
That's a good problem to have right there.
you get some compact tractors too, and
Sure.
there's a big market for the loader tractors, the 6,000 and 7,000 series tractors with loaders on and stuff too. So, but a lot of the 8Rs and 9Rs for sure.
Right on.
I always tell these guys, Casey, it used to be the day we used to haul 3 tractors on one load.
Yeah.
So we get a lot more done with one truck than we do today. Because most generally we put one on and we're right up on the weight and ready to go. So.
8R 370s and 410s, they're over 40,000 pounds. You have to ship the wheel separate on them now.
Yeah. I was going to say, you're getting to the point now you have a hard time just hauling 3 wheels in the same truck. So it's getting harder and harder as some of the stuff gets bigger and bigger. And especially take a look at like some of these Class 10 combines you see coming out. I mean, holy crap. You got 60, 70,000 pounds just sitting there, and then you still got to do something with the duals, so that's
really nice to go from combines out of the factory because there's no tires. They crane it onto your trailer and you drive.
Yeah. So
once they're out at the farm, it gets to be a little bit more tricky.
Yep, for sure. I think that's probably a good place to stop. Brad, you got any final thoughts you want to throw out there before we close down?
No, I don't think so. I just wish everybody a Merry Christmas and hope the holidays are good. And we look forward to next year.
Right on. Parker, you got anything you want to throw out there?
No, same deal. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And, hopefully if you got some stuff that you need moved before the end of the year, give me a call and I'll see if I can make something happen for you.
Right on. Brad, if folks want to reach out to you and get more information about what you're doing, what's the best way to do that?
800-657-4910 or my email, bgraph@valleytransinc.com.
Right on. Parker, how about you?
Yeah, give me a call at 800-657-4910 or shoot me an email at pjohnson@valleytransinc.com.
Right on, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys and what you've done over 23 with me here and look forward to working with you again in 24.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Casey.
Right on, guys. I'm Casey Seymour with Moving Iron Podcast. Check me out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Moving Iron LLC. Go to LinkedIn at Moving Iron Podcast. Go to Snapchat, TikTok, and I don't know where else I'm at, but that's Moving Iron Podcast too. And then go to YouTube, see the video version of this at Moving Iron Podcast YouTube channel, and then go to Moving Iron LLC for everything Moving Iron related. So with that, I'm Casey Seymour with Brad and Parker. Smooth Smart, folks. Out.
Moving iron in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for you and me. Moving iron, time and time again. Through the years you'll find us here. Moving